Hey, what's up, fans? You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Lieutenant Jesse Wuji, NASCAR driver, and this week, I'm your hunk.
Hello, and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. I am Jordan Wonders, and this week, I am your chunk.
I'm Doge, and you're gonna turn your back on Chunky?
And I'm Carter. And that's the beautiful thing about fate. It's chunky.
It is. If you're wondering why our intro sounded different than usual, friends, that was the voice of the one, the only Jesse Iwuji.
Like, legitimately, that was him. We can show you all the proof.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this actually happened.
We're so excited. We're like beside ourselves excited. Jesse's awesome. Super worth a follow on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like a good dude, very personable, but also is an actual hero.
Yeah, for real. Check out jesseawuji.com to learn more about him and what he's all about. He's the man.
We love you, Jesse. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Jesse, you're family.
You are family. You can
really
say
are.
grace at our table anytime.
We have a fourth microphone waiting.
Waiting for you.
I have been visited by the ghost of Furious Future.
Oh, wow.
Allow me to explain. You see, about 1 week ago, I had a dream in which myself, you, Jordan, and you, Carter. I promise I'm not making this dream up. We were invited to the premiere
Oh, my God.
of Fast and Furious 9.
I'd go.
They had apparently heard our podcast and said,
Loved
these
it, of
guys
course.
get these movies. We want them to come to our
get
premiere.
it.
So we're at this, it's a theater in LA. Used to be a stage theater. It's been converted, like retrofitted into a movie theater.
This is a detailed dream.
Very much
You
detailed.
just buckle your Furious seatbelt. We get there and we notice that there are 2 projected screens on the sides and 1 open stage in the middle.
Okay.
And we said,
It's a play.
that's strange. Fast and Furious 9 is a multimedia production. The first 25 minutes of this movie feature archival footage of Paul Walker as Brian,
Yeah, sure.
and they play on the side screens. The middle 1 hour of this movie is a live stage play where there's only one character, and it is a Paul Walker impersonator.
What?
And it is genuinely a 1 hour long monologue in which he pantomimes driving a car in the desert, reflecting on his past successes and failures and his decision to ultimately leave the racing lifestyle behind. Presumably this happens in between Fast and Furious 6 and 7, and it explains his decision to get out of the racing game.
Sure. And I'm assuming he starts it by looking at the audience directly in the eyes and saying, "Oh, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
here we
That's
go.
what happens.
Oh, here we go."
And then the last 25 minutes of this is like a filmed sequence that leads into the beginning of Furious 7.
What?
This is actually a shockingly short Fast and Furious movie. Because
Yeah.
that rounds out to about an hour 50.
Well, it's a short Fast and Furious, but it's a very long sort of avant-garde stage
Multimedia.
media
Yeah,
production.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, my God.
I thought you were going to say it started out with archival footage of Paul Walker the entire time, during which Dom Toretto, a.k.a. Vin Diesel, is just scream crying on the stage.
It's like Vin Diesel, like he intros the whole thing and it's just really quiet for like 5 minutes. And then there's only a spotlight on him gleaming off of his head. And he just says simply, "It's been a long day without you, my friend. I'll tell you all about it."
So I have explained to you, I have painted with a brush the broad strokes of Fast and Furious 9.
Certainly.
Allow me to share with you the strangest detail.
Oh,
It hasn't happened yet?
About 40 minutes into the live stage portion of Fast and Furious 9. This is a real dream. Not Paul Walker drives past 3 prairie dogs.
What?
this is so weird.
What the heck?
These 3 prairie dogs become not Paul Walker's companions for the rest of the live
Sure,
stage
like
portion.
a Jiminy Cricket sort of a situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
They die horrifically. And that sets the stage for the third act conflict, which is the filmed portion that closes out this show.
That is so wonderfully bizarre.
So, keep your eyes peeled for Fast and Furious 9.
Justin Lin, eat your heart out and hit us up.
Coming to a theater live
Experience near you.
Probably in one place.
Fast and Furious 9D.
Oh my gosh.
Experience everything.
We're all here now. We all live here. This is the inside of my mind. I've opened the doors and I've shown it to you. And I think the only proper thing to do is to take a trip. Carter, tell them where we're going.
I think it's time for a little trip to
Jordan Wonder's Car Corner. Welcome to Jordan Wonder's Car Corner, where Jordan Wonder answers all car-related queries and questions.
I have a question.
Yeah, I have an
And
answer.
I'm gonna tell you about some real experience that I had today.
Okay.
And I want you to just simply explain it to me.
Okay.
So I was making the commute from where I work in South Dallas.
Yep.
It's hard to call it Dallas, up to North Dallas area. Obviously congested
Sure.
during the
Yeah.
5 o'clock
Just
traffic.
sniffles.
My ETA at first,
That's estimated time of arrival.
estimated
for those
time of
you at home.
arrival. Yeah, I knew you would know that
Yeah.
as a car guy.
Cars.
Was like 6:50. Like
Yeah.
it was like I was gonna barely make it for us to film the podcast. And so I'm getting frustrated. 10 minutes in, it's even like the ETA is longer and longer.
Ah.
And so what happens is I take off my button up shirt
Mhm.
that I wore to work,
Mhm.
and underneath I have a wife beater.
Sure.
As soon as the shirt was completely off me, I was here.
Oh.
I got here
Mm.
at 6:03.
Wow.
Mm.
The question is, and I don't want to make assumptions, especially not around an expert.
Yeah.
Because I had the wife beater on from
Mhm.
what we've seen in Fast and the Furious,
Sure.
did that simply make me faster? And if it does, what other garments or accessories can our listeners buy to make them faster?
I'm glad you asked. This is a common question that I get here a lot. Not specific to your situation, but we'll get there. The easiest answer is usually the simplest, and here it is. You were already stuck in traffic.
Right.
Maybe I would even say a little angry.
Oh,
So you had Furious down.
okay. I think
That was easy.
Okay.
Second, you took off the shirt. All of a sudden, Fast was part of the mix. Now you're both fast and also simultaneously furious.
That makes
You
perfect
practically
sense. So you
teleport.
have to have both.
Sure. The other thing that works for is if you're having a day where you feel really nice and you like the way that you look,
Yeah.
and you're feeling good about yourself, but then you put on some sort of a monocle that makes you look down at other people. You are simultaneously experiencing both pride and also prejudice, and you will in fact find yourself a Darcy or two, maybe even three.
Follow-up question.
Follow up answer.
Why cars?
So okay, yeah.
And
I was
and
gonna
I
say,
don't.
I'm
I
glad
don't
you did
mean,
it.
I don't mean, and this is the last episode of The Fastest and the Furious. So what I don't mean is why do we use cars?
Right.
You know, I know you can answer that. I really want to try and stump you this time. Why cars? So what do cars tell us about sort of the human condition?
Sure. Great question. And I mean, when it comes down to it, all I can say is this, and I want to be clear. I don't mean to brag. I drive a car sometimes.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, wow.
I know. And
Glad
so
you prefaced it that way because I thought you were bragging.
here's the thing about cars. What don't they teach us?
Because-
Resilience.
Yeah.
Speed, location,
I thought you said Brazilian.
I did too.
air conditioning,
Uh-huh.
seatbelts, seats, steering wheels, honking.
Learned it
Lights.
all. Learned it all.
How would we know what a honk was?
Downhill juice.
Yeah, downhill juice. How would I know whether or not it was time to flip that nos if it wasn't for my cars? That's cars with a bad accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean,
Yeah, I know that guy.
it's really cool, like a little Easter egg. Not Easter egg, it's just fun trivia.
Yeah.
But Nos juice,
Yep.
he actually, that the name came from it before it had been called something completely different. The film was rolling and he didn't know it, but he takes a legitimate sip of it and he says, that's Nos.
Yeah.
And then they just completely rebrand. Pretty brilliant.
Sort of like the fried chicken waitress at a restaurant that Doja and I had once that asked us if we wanted our fried chicken spicy.
That's
Bossy.
It's an
Bossy.
absolutely real story.
You eat fried chicken and then they massage your feet and you have
She goes,
free reign at the pool.
I would recommend getting the chef special, but be careful. It is pretty spicy.
Bossy.
Spossy.
Well, with all this talk of spicy chicken,
Yeah, let's talk about a Spossy movie instead,
it
huh?
should be obvious.
Do you guys know which movie we're talking about? It's called The Fate of the Furious. Doge. Slap me right up and down with a synopsis.
Fate of the Furious tells the story of Dominic Toretto turning his back on his family.
No.
Dominic Toretto is recruited to work for international terrorist Cypher and to help her steal some gadgets and some gizmos that she's going to use to send a message to world leaders and say that they have gone too far and crossed over the line. Mr. Nobody recruits Dom's old team to hunt him down and stop him. Little do they know that Dom has not actually turned his back on family, but is instead reacting to the revelation that his son, number one, exists, and number two, is being held hostage by Cypher.
And that's the way it is.
So yeah, that's pretty much this movie.
Yeah.
The two teams square off. Dom
do they?
Dom saves the day. Spoilers, I
It's
guess.
tough to call
everyone.
Cypher's team a team. It's like Cypher in the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
It's like nobody was going to do much damage.
Not really. Not really. Even Cypher physically, huh?
No, I don't think so.
So let's
Talk about
let's start driving down the road that is this movie.
Yeah, let's do that. We open on, is it Cuba?
Cuba.
Cuba.
Man, what a weird thing to choose to open this movie with, huh?
Well, I think they're running out of countries. Because no, for real. It was like Cuba and Russia. It's like in Berlin and New York. Those were all in this one.
Yeah.
And they hadn't been in any of the others. So
That's
they're like,
fair.
hey, we're really digging the island vibe.
Yeah.
We've already done Mexico.
Yeah.
We've done. Did they do Jamaica? They've done another
Probably.
and then here's Cuba. Then there's Cuba.
But-
as they say in Cuba.
The country isn't even the part that's confusing to me. The problem that I have is like, what was the point of any of it?
Exactly.
Yeah, cousin never came back.
Cousin didn't.
Was it
and-
a nephew?
And it was cousin.
Cousin
And
did
the,
not come back.
the role of
Cousin did come
Mr.
back.
Angry Beard Nose Piercing could have been
Oh,
played
yeah.
by anybody. I mean, it could have been any underworld connection later on that pulled up in a van. I don't know why it had to be Cuba Beard Nose Ring.
I know you're not trying to trick me right now, but you're so close to getting me to give my super dump.
This early on?
This early in the
Okay,
episode.
let's stay in Cuba for a little bit. That race was so pointless
But
and weird.
I enjoyed it.
You did?
Yes.
Tell us why.
Well,
Because-
good for you, Carl.
because we finally had someone who was up to street race Dom that was kind of not dealing with the normal Dom way. Because Dom was like, let's race it. You can have this car. Oh, it's not. And he was trying to talk trash. And he's like, all right, if it's not about the car, drive his. Let's see you put up or shut up.
Right. But
Yeah.
And then he rips the car apart with his hands.
which
Do you
was
not like that?
insane.
And
like
he puts
that.
really that's all it takes. Like, did this offend the people that love Fast and Furious because they work on cars?
Right.
To be like, maybe
He's
this is the
supposed to
first time
build
they've been-
cars.
This is really unrealistic. But
Not
he's tearing it
breaking
apart
them
with his
down.
hands, and then he's like, "What do I do? Oh, Coca-Cola tab, boink,
Weird,
pull
huh?
it there."
This is a trick the Buster used to pull.
Yeah.
Don't let me down.
In my notes, I wrote, there should be no issue with Dom's car catching on fire because we know it only brings some strength.
Exactly.
Like
He
the
drinks
power of
fire.
fire.
But my problem is like the fire made go fast.
No,
obviously,
because it was
fire-
going so fast, it caused fire.
Okay, we've always been
I just don't.
we've always
get
been
it.
a show that is unafraid to tackle the hard-hitting scientific issues of the day. Fire is boost. And we said it and we believe it. Fire is boost.
I speak it in truth and I believe it.
Fire is boost.
Fire is boost.
Okay, next question.
It's the first time someone's won backwards. You know,
That's
they're
true.
trying to be
But
really creative.
And this brings me to an issue that I have with this movie that I also love about this movie. This is the most conflicting point of this movie for me. The total disregard for human life is at an all-time high.
You think this is the
I
highest it's
think
been?
so. I really do.
Probably for a thing that comes up later.
Yeah.
Mainly.
And
Yeah.
this backwards, just
Yeah.
car ramps off, explodes. And after the car lands in the water, everybody loses their minds, all that good stuff. Then Dom's like, nah, forget it. Your respect is enough for me. Why?
You can keep your car.
Why is this random dude enough for Dom?
Exactly.
What comes with invincibility is also the ability to see into the future and a
Sure.
certain kind of vision.
Sure.
This
He
is
knew he
Father
needed-
Furious.
He
after
knew
all.
he needed this guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
He knew he needed to put him, and this guy needed to be the bacon, lettuce, tomato of a big reveal twist sandwich.
You're giving
That
him
happens.
3 toppings worth of credit.
Well, he's not the bread. It's not a sandwich without the
I would
bread.
call him the lettuce.
He's
he
the
adds
lettuce.
a little bit of crunch, but he is ultimately nutritionally meaningless.
Sure.
There it is. That's what I was trying to get to. Alley oop.
If we're talking about nutritionally meaningless, it's a great time. I can't hold it anymore.
Wow.
My super dump
Whoa.
is the way this movie starts. We waste like 15 to 30 minutes at the
No,
beginning of
dog.
this
We
movie.
waste like almost 45 whole
We
minutes.
waste forever. This
Not
movie,
just in Cuba, but just
Oh,
before
oh,
anything
oh.
this
really
movie
happens.
should
And they've done that
begin.
before.
The one thing that I wish that they didn't show us was this stupid race in Cuba. This was ridiculous for me. We didn't need this. The one thing that I wanted them to show us was the heist in Germany where they steal the EMP.
Yeah.
They didn't show that. They cut to the end of
What
that
a great
heist.
point.
The movie should have been a cold open into that heist, and all the team is together stealing that thing in Germany.
I think we should have never seen Charlize. We should have never seen Cypher until a reveal later on that Dom didn't actually flip.
Exactly.
If we opened cold open heist and we're like, yeah, here we go. And then all
then
of a
Dom
sudden
flips?
out of nowhere, Dom flips.
Oh, and hits
yes.
Hobbs.
Then
That
we would all
would've
be
been
like,
great.
what is happening?
No,
Let me
and
tell
then
you-
cut to black title, Fate of the Furious, and then it's the rest of the team reeling. What do we do about Dom? He's turned.
And here's something that's weird about me, especially considering my starting position with these movies. I genuinely believe that if Justin Lin had directed this, that is what we would have gotten.
In Justin,
Yeah.
we trust.
Yeah. I have enough. I don't know trust feels like the right word. I have enough trust in his abilities. I'm trusting Justin.
I'm 92% in on this with you guys because I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it got me pretty excited.
Yeah.
But if you do all of this, where do you put the Haka with the Little League soccer team?
Which honestly I loved so
I really
much.
did love
Let
that.
me
Huge
bring up a note
pump
here.
on the Rock.
Hey, okay, here we go. Easy, easy, easy. The Rock is not part of that first mission.
Yeah.
The Rock is not part of that first
It
mission.
has
he
to be
bonks, bonks Letty.
And he hits Letty. And then Mr. Nobody comes to The Rock and he says, it's not some random
Instead of
henchman.
random-
No, you can't do
mustache.
that though. I'm sorry. You can't do that structurally because then how does The Rock get to prison and we have that amazing time?
Yeah, that's true.
He has to get to prison. He
That's
has to
true.
be the one person they catch.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Here's
we
the deal.
open the movie on the Rock giving instructions.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
And I thought I love it so much. I wrote, like, Hobbs is officially Dwayne Johnson now. Like,
Yes!
they
It really
have
is.
made him Dwayne The
Yes.
Rock Johnson. His personality,
the
his
Haka,
100%
his
there.
speech,
I believe
the
a few
mom,
episodes
like,
ago-
cheerleading squad.
Yes.
So good.
And him making the agent cheer for the Red Dragons.
So good.
I believe a few episodes ago you termed it Eyebrow Rock.
Eyebrow Rock is here.
Eyebrow Rock, we are living in the reign of Eyebrow
We
Rock.
are.
And
We
it's
truly are.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm for the actual, well, not Fast and the Furious 9, but for this breakaway of it being Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Honestly, and we'll get to it later. After this movie, I am more excited for that than I am for Fast and Furious.
I would say
9.
so too. And I'll go ahead and bring this up now. It's a dump for me, but it's not the super dump. Something happened. And yes, Paul Walker's absence plays a huge role in this. And
Yeah.
I never thought that there would feel like there was something missing.
Oh my gosh, I felt such
But
a
I
hole.
could not
Yeah.
really buy into the dynamic of this team very well.
same.
I had trouble with this team. And I didn't have that when only Han was gone. Of course, I didn't without Giselle or Mia because I don't think they're very necessary
Yeah,
to
same.
be as much of a part of it as they were. But there was something about when they were sitting around that table when it should have felt cool to have the team together.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like
It's
the
the
team.
Brian of it all.
Well,
It
and I
didn't
think
feel like the team.
they like the movie. Gosh, I don't know how it's kind of uncharted waters. Like, how do you address this? Because on the one hand, it's a dump that they have that scene where they go, "We should call Brian," and then Michelle Rodriguez says, "No, we can't get Brian involved. We can't bring him and Mia back into this." But in that, your audience is not thinking about the character Brian. We're just thinking, "Oh, they can't bring him in because Paul Walker
'Cause he's gone.
is dead."
Yeah.
and that's like
But I also kind of liked the way that in universe they addressed the obvious question of why not call Brian.
See, I think I would have preferred just a straight up omission.
I agree.
Because the end was so good.
Yeah, it was.
The end of 7 was so good as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I thought you meant the end of this one.
No.
The end of 7 was so
The end
great.
of
And
Brian,
like let's leave that character alone, even in mention. Like, don't at him. You know, just stop mentioning.
Well,
him.
it's not the kind of thing either that made such worldwide news. When it makes 1.5 billion worldwide, that's at least that's over a billion people that saw the movie. I know a lot of people went more than once, but there's nobody in the theater during 8 that's going, that's because Paul Walker died.
Yeah.
They're referencing that's why he's not here.
Everyone knows what's up.
Everybody knows what's up. It's just like you said. Another little thing before we get past it, because it's really easy to miss. I randomly, because I got a call, I can't remember what it was, I had to pause the movie. And I paused it on something that wouldn't have normally been a dump, but it was for me because it doesn't make sense. Dom Toretto is invincible, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the
Unkillable.
most, if not the most unkillable. He has, and we have another fake sacrificial slow-mo launch at the end again.
Always.
The car.
He's
Always
baptized again by fire.
I
Nice
was
this time.
really bothered, and I think that's only because I have become a legitimate fan of this franchise. So now something is at stake for me.
Sure.
I have bought stock in Fast and Furious.
Sure.
He answers his phone. I don't think Dom Toretto should have a protective phone case.
No, I agree.
Oh.
I said the exact same thing. That case.
Did
came up
you
and I was
really?
like, cool case, man.
He shouldn't even have one, right?
Yeah.
Should Dom Toretto
Yeah.
The phone should just be a microchip with a speaker connected
or
to it.
something?
Yeah.
Which, speaking of
He
speakers,
should Vaseline up his hands before he even uses the phone.
yes, but it kills a bad guy.
Yeah.
because he's just that
Right
good
through
at that
the
kind
neck.
of stuff.
Shoots it at terminal velocity.
Yep.
The Berlin
Tubular.
heist.
Yeah.
Would we call it that?
Yeah.
The Berlin missed opportunity.
Are
I
we
think.
okay?
Yeah.
Well, while there was wasted opportunities, some good things happened that I think we asked of it.
Sure do.
They pretty much brought back the weapon of a heavy thing on a chain.
The wrecking ball was cool.
They'd used it
Big
before.
fan.
Big pump on that. Guys, they were driving with two hands this entire heist.
They sure were.
They did not have walkie-talkies.
They sure
didn't.
didn't.
The walkie-talkies came back
So
in Russia.
Yeah.
were the walkie-talkies? Oh, I didn't even notice they were in Russia. Were they
Yep.
really?
They were talking with one hand. Because at one point, Ludacris, almost my super dump, when I don't want to give away things, but when he talks, he is in distress. Who is he talking to when he turns on his walkie to say, oh, no, 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 no? Like, how is that of use to anybody? Anyways.
He's talking to us, Carter.
I'm
too
actually
picky.
Almost my super dump for this movie. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's just talk about this. The one-liners are the worst they have ever been
They're
in the
very
history
bad.
of this series.
Yeah.
It is just one-liner after one-liner. And now don't get me wrong. Some of my favorite moments involved some of those one-liners, but like almost every ounce of dialogue in this movie was either expository or, oh no, here we go again. Like, that's all it was.
I totally agree. I don't get the sense that any of this dialogue would happen if there wasn't a camera pointed at these characters.
100%.
I mean, the dialogue exists to inform the viewer of what's going on,
Yeah.
Yep.
rather than to tell the story and rather than portray characters.
Right.
Agreed.
I agree. And so they do the big Germany heist after Dom is confronted by Cypher, played by Charlize Theron. And
She's honestly a big dump for me in this movie.
really, yeah, I felt pretty neutral
Well, I think
about her.
she's coming at the tail end of the Shaw brothers,
Yeah.
who were
Yeah.
by far the best villains.
Agreed, but something that I thought was cool about Cypher that I actually appreciated was that Cypher attacked them in a different way than anybody else had.
Which was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm all for Dom being forced to fight his own family against his will. And
Right.
it was actually, for me, the most compelling part of this movie.
Okay, then I have a question for you about Dom's sort of,
His motivation?
his motivation, his
Because I have
son
a
being
problem
held
with the
ransom.
motivation.
So Charlize shows him a picture on a cell phone.
How does he know it's his son?
Shows him a picture on a cell phone, and we don't ever see what's in the cell phone.
Right.
Then about 30 minutes later, we get the scene of him and Elsa Pataki
And he's
and the
surprised.
baby, and he is surprised, and this is the first time he has seen his son. What does she show him on the cell phone?
I thought it was
why
her
is
and
he
the son.
with her? But how does he know?
That it's his son on
That
the
it's
phone?
his son,
No, that's what I was
yeah.
thinking too. 100%. I was expecting
Because
to
Elsa
have,
was definitely not a part of it. Or else he would have been like, oh, this makes sense because that's the mom. Right?
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, he is totally shocked, and Elsa has to explain to him the terms of her pregnancy. She literally has to say, hey, this baby that you're looking at, he is yours, and this is why?
Well, he knows why.
He is
We
yours.
sports.
He is yours, and this is when, and this is where, and this is how. What does Cypher use then?
Simple answer. The picture on that phone wasn't really a picture at all. It was a collection of really big words. And you just saw Dom Toretto's natural reaction to making his brain work in that way.
Sure, yeah. I have an alternate theory that I'd like to exposit.
Do it.
She turns the phone around, and it's Tormund Giantsbane holding a rifle to the head of a giant bottle of Corona.
Oh, no.
Gosh.
And Dom says, I would do anything, which explains why he looks kind of disappointed when he sees it's just like his son. He's like, I mean, I guess I could say
I thought it was going to be a big Corona.
Yeah.
Come with the drink of that bad boy.
What? Come here to drink of that bad boy.
Yeah. Hello, I'm a Dom Toretto. Choose your player. Beep, beep, beep. That's my Mario
No,
Kart.
do more Mario
ending.
Kart.
Let's go. Sorry.
Toad!
Yeah.
That was a good Toad.
You've been listening.
That's pretty
You've
good.
been listening to the sounds of Mario Kart.
As we were in the base, which
Yeah.
there was a really cool moment when Mr. Nobody was like, oh, that's it. Mr. Nobody was like, that's interesting. That's here. And then things blow up.
I loved that.
That was really cool.
Loved
I hated that.
You hated that?
That was so like, oh, great timing, Kurt Russell.
I know, but I loved it.
That's- Wait, you don't think it couldn't be?
No, no,
That's here.
To me, I read
explosion.
To me, I read it as Mr. Nobody being like, a fight, yay.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I read it, of him being like, interesting, because that's, like, oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah, get
like one of
ready.
those. Because we know he loves it.
Get ready.
While we're
Russell
talking
looked
about-
old to me
Oh, he
in
did
this.
look old.
He looked like a whoopee cushion with eyes.
We
Every time he talks, he's like,
should we be doing this right now because this is after the prison? Should we talk about
let's
the
talk
prison
about the
first?
prison.
I am anything Hobbs wants to do,
Yep.
please.
Fine.
Yep.
When he curls a concrete prison bench,
Breaks it off the
Yeah,
wall
yeah,
first.
yeah.
But even before that, he's just punching.
The walls.
yeah, dude, with seemingly no consequence, which I don't get. But let me say this.
You
Why
haven't
don't you
been paying
get-
attention then?
Yeah, I guess.
He broke through a cast.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Shaw, Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Up to this point, I was like, nah, okay, I get it. He was scary. He was sort of Michael Myers-esque, just pursuing constantly.
Yep.
And he had a moment in the prison. So by the end of this movie, I might be the biggest Shaw fan in the world. We'll talk about why later. But in the prison, even I had to think like, yeah, Shaw, you're scary. I get it. Why would you taunt Hobbs so much?
Yeah.
He can rip you in half. And at one point, he
But
takes
Shaw's
a rubber
fearless.
bullet to the chest.
Yeah.
Hobbs does. And it's just like, rubber bullet, big
Shaw
mistake.
is fearless. What is the video game to where literally all you get to do is just kill zombies? You are by yourself. It was one of the first video games that came out for one of the newer consoles.
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're just in a mall. I don't care if Hobbs and Shaw, if that movie is just the two of them placed in a group of villains and I get to see them
It's a
kill them
2-hour
in
fight
different
scene?
ways.
My
Yes.
Gosh, I would watch that.
I loved
so-
it. And I really loved their banter back and forth.
Yes.
And that's something that both of their personalities kind of has done. Hobbs continues to do that with Roman and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But I thought that was a great scene.
The prison in general was some of the wildest fighting we have seen
Oh my
in
gosh,
this series.
I could watch
Unbelievable.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson walk down a hallway and like take shots to each shoulder and like alternate back and forth for an hour.
Rubber bullets, bad idea.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
oh my
he throws 3 people at once
Yep.
back first into a concrete wall.
Like the Juggernaut.
And can we talk about how far Hobbs and Shaw slid anytime they slid
Oh my gosh.
in this prison?
Without much momentum to start.
They-
It was just
and
kind
can
of
we
like,
talk
if you
about-
lay
They
down.
must mop the floor with olive oil.
Can we
at this
talk?
point.
Gross. Can we talk about how easily I believed it though?
Yeah,
Because there was
100%.
a point in this series where I would have gone, "Oh, that's not how sliding works." But my
Yeah.
first thought every time was not, "That's not real." My first thought was,
That's
"This is
all?
the coolest thing I've ever seen."
Right.
They have set the precedent in this series of nothing is impossible, so just go ahead and expect all of it.
Anything
Which
is
I'm
possible.
fine with. Can we talk about Mr. Nobody's sidekick, Little Nobody now?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He looks so much like Clint Eastwood because it's his son.
Okay, I was gonna say
No.
Okay, just want to make sure.
His son looks so much like him. I was offended that he played such a worthless character.
Such a chump.
I was like, "You're an
Yeah.
Eastwood son." I just want to slap him in the face and put a cigarette in there and a cowboy hat. Be like, "Get over it. Do you know who you are?"
Kid, get out of my movie.
And was he supposed to be some kind of substitute for Brian
That's
O'Connell?
exactly what he was. He was surrogate Brian.
I hope that's not true.
I think it was too.
I don't want to think about that. But
He drove a blue car. It was
Here's the
basically
thing.
a Skyline.
Here's the thing. You always, in these movies, need a lame white guy to drive a blue
No,
import.
this is lame. This is like
Yeah.
a different breed.
allow me to insert the fact that Scott Eastwood in this movie is my super dump.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was the worst character in this movie.
He sucked.
And there were, at one point near the end, he's been this staunch rule follower the whole time, and Mr. Nobody's been doing this like 3 lessons thing the whole time. His turnaround from, we can't do that, it's not safe, we need to contact the authorities to, you're right, let's do this.
Crowbar scene.
Took,
So bad.
I'm not kidding, I rewound. From the time he says, we can't do that, it's not safe, it's impossible, to the time where he smashes the thing to get the keys out,
It was like 7
12 seconds.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
12 seconds.
It was such a and then they open up that massive garage. There was a lot I didn't like about a lot of those things.
Yep.
Like how Tej knows
They call
everything
it the
about
the
the tank.
Yeah.
What we got here. But like didn't it feel so much like a Chevy commercial?
100%.
Yeah.
Because they're all standing right there. No, even before it opens, you know how they'll get the like not
Real-
actors.
real people,
Real
not actors.
people.
Yeah.
Which,
Like,
by the way,
actually,
do you-
here's your Nana. Your grandma's here too.
Do you know
Aw.
that disclaimer just means that they're not
SAG.
SAG?
Yeah.
Like they can
No,
still be
they-
professional actors. They're just not part of the Screen Actors Guild.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
But that sort of brings me around to another thing related to that moment and to a lot of this. It was almost my super dump. Also, the pacing in this movie is the worst I've ever seen.
Yep. It's because we start with 40 minutes of fat.
Right. But I don't think there were 30 seconds without dialogue in this whole movie. That's number one. And then number two, we've had the problem before of them extending 30-second races to be about 6 minutes long.
Sure.
It was the opposite here. At one point, they say there's a minute left on a timer, and about 15 seconds
I
later, timer goes
counted.
off.
I also counted that. Well, and I think the most egregious example of shortening time is that we don't get any of the heist in Germany.
100%.
I'm never going to get over that. That's
Yeah,
just
I
going to
know.
be my one bone that I pick forever
I
with
know.
this movie.
I'm sorry, man.
But after we're sort of attacked by Cypher and her crew with Mr. Nobody and Lil Nobody.
Can I just take a minute to dump? I'm so sorry, to dump on Mr. Nobody?
Wait,
In
why?
this one?
He was wasted in this one. I feel like they didn't give Kurt Russell anything to do other than interact with the worst character in this movie.
So you want to dump on the utilization of Mr. Nobody?
Sure, I would have loved more Mr. Nobody.
there we go.
And the Mr. Nobody that I got was crappy.
Especially
tell you
after
what.
they gave us kill everyone with
After they
one
gave us
shot,
Yes.
Mr. Nobody.
coolest night vision sunglasses, Mr. Nobody.
I'm at a point in my life where I hope the Hobbs and Shaw movie includes Kurt Russell's Mr.
I
Nobody.
guarantee you
Here's
it will.
the thing. They are so twisty in the Fast and Furious franchise. I could call it right now. I'm going to. He's going to be a big bad.
Whoa,
You
you think
think?
so?
He's going to be a villain.
I don't want that.
Dude, no, if Mr. Nobody was the villain of Hobbs and Shaw,
Or of anything.
yeah, I would really love that.
Make him a villain. Because you've
Dude,
already
what if
not
he's
even
the
given
villain
him
in 10?
any kind of backstory.
The villain in 10 is that he's been like supplying all of these terrorist people. Like he was funding the Shaw brothers. He was funding
and
Cypher.
it's all
And
a live game
Dom's
show.
crew
Yep.
is just another quote unquote terrorist
Another
org.
terrorist
Yeah.
cell that he's funding.
And then what they have to reconcile is, we've been working with this guy for years, but do you know anything? I don't know anything about. Do you know anything about? I don't know
Yeah.
anything about. Oh no, you know what I mean?
we got
That'd
to
be
use
cool.
the God's Eye to find Mr. Nobody.
So actually, big pump on the use of the God's Eye in this
Yeah.
movie for me. When they addressed the fact that they had already tried it, I was like, good move. That was
Right.
clutch.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a great move.
I like that.
that felt good. I'm glad it was in the movie, but it did feel a little bit like, hey, audience, we know you were going to call plot hole if we didn't do this.
Well, 100% that's what it was, but
Yeah.
I was into it.
Same with the shout out to Brian and Mia.
Yes.
Like it felt a little bit like we're anticipating the reaction of fans, and it just felt
Now,
Well,
what I
they-
didn't like was
weird.
Mr. Nobody being like, yeah, Tej, why don't you go try that? Yeah, you think we didn't think of that already?
Right.
That was a
Yeah.
little like a waste of time.
They had a redemption moment too, though, because they did what was supposed to happen at the end of 6 with the airplane that does a quick drop and picks up the car and leaves.
You talking about Dom
Yep.
getting
That's
away?
exactly what was supposed to happen in 6, but that airplane stayed on a runway for 2 hours.
Right.
There's something I want to do, and we have to do it because it's the last movie in the franchise that
Right.
we're podcasting.
Right.
yes.
As I was seeing all these people that are being used for such high level, Like this one was literally they're saving the world.
Right.
Can we go through very quickly as many as we can remember in this movie that are sitting, let's just say sitting around the table in Mr. Nobody's Nowhere and name them and say, how did they get here? What did they get? What did they do to deserve to be on a world saving team? Okay. And I don't have a lot of this prepared in my mind, but I did sit there and was like, Mr. Nobody is nobody. I have no idea why he's there, but he's at the lead of this.
We're calling it right now. He's going to be the big villain.
Big
of
villain.
Fast and Furious 10.
Hobbs is there. How did he end up being a superhero?
He was a super cop or a super soldier.
Super cop
Yeah,
that
he
didn't
was.
really do his job because they got away and now they're his friends.
Right.
Yep.
So he kind of failed. But he's there.
Right.
We have Dom, who worked in a garage, which is
Sure.
still his profile
Sure.
when we see him with God's eye.
Yep.
Which,
Yep.
by the way, it said hair dark
Ooh.
I feel like hair none or
Hair
transparent would have been
later.
Yeah. Hair different.
And so, and he was 6'1". Vin Diesel's actually 6 foot tall. So they gave him
They
an inch.
boosted him a little bit.
Diesel's like, please add another inch onto that.
6'1" sounds so much cooler.
Letty.
Why is she there? 'Cause she's Dom's wife?
Well, she was an ex-terrorist.
She's a good driver.
She's Dom's wife and a good driver.
Are they all just here because they're good drivers?
Roman certainly isn't, and that's what I don't understand.
Roman's a
about
bad driver.
Yeah, Roman's a bad driver.
That's a big one. Roman and Tej are my biggest issues of being a
Well,
part of this team.
Tej was the tech guy, but now that they have what's her butt,
Ramsey.
yeah, get him out of here.
I think
Yeah.
Ramsey's needed.
Yeah, sure.
Ramsey's great.
especially if
Ramsey
versus
feels
Cypher.
Well, here's the thing. Ramsey feels qualified only because we've been told she's a hacker.
Yeah, but how interesting is it to watch somebody hack, though? You know what I
It
mean?
wasn't. That was almost my super dump.
Yeah.
Cypher versus Ramsey.
Who cares?
And it's like, she thinks she's got me.
Didn't
thump,
Tej
thump,
Turn the
thump.
propeller back on.
Didn't Tej own a garage?
That's all he was at the beginning.
He did, yes.
He basically provided stuff.
He was
I
just
believe he
Dom.
still does, though.
right. All I'm saying is like
Yeah.
these people, as much as I have compared them to superheroes, they lack the backstory
Sure.
to be selected
It's
as a
not- and I
legitimate
feel like-
superhero.
I feel like we
No super soldier.
honestly we got sucked into the whirlpool a little bit
We
with
did.
the last two.
And it's all
And we were like, yeah, unlikely heroes saving the world, but they're not so much unlikely as unqualified,
Yeah,
right? And
unwarranted.
unproven.
Well, but here's the thing. I'm ready to get sucked right back into this whirlpool, because can we talk about New York City, please, for the love of all things good?
the zombie cars.
Oh, yeah.
We are here. It's my super pump.
Yeah,
this was
talk about
so
it.
great.
That
Talk
was my-
about it.
Zombie cars. Those are the two words you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
imagine, what do you think of when you think of zombie cars?
You did it.
You did it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
this scene. Self-driving cars attacking the heroes of our movie.
Carter, did you say it's also your super pump? Is that
No,
what you said?
it's a
Mine-
pump
mine
for me.
either, but
Yeah,
it's
who
a
would
huge,
have this? Who would
no,
have this?
huge
as their
pump
super
for me.
No.
Huge
The-
pump for me.
I feel like the writers of Fast and the Furious scripts have several little ping pong balls that they put a pop culture phenomenon at the time, and they put it inside one of those big lottery baskets, and
Yeah.
they turn it,
And they say,
and
make
they
it
say
do cars.
zombie, invincibility, fast. It's just like all these random things, but they're just
But like every third ball says fast, so
Yes.
there's always going to be a fast on the
zombie.
table. somewhere.
Car is like 80% of
Yeah,
the balls
yeah.
in there. That was a pump. Almost my super pump was the very specific moment when the parking garage
Yes. She says,
falls from the
make
sky.
it rain. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, that was so
And
good.
looking at it, at first I was like, oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. Oh, no. Like I was
So many
terrified.
cars. Yeah.
Please, why can't we keep Dom in that awesome mask a
I was
little
about to
bit
say,
longer?
Why did you take it off? It was so cool.
that
that
was
was-
so cool.
that
What
was
a
a
waste of
moment.
a dope costume.
That was a moment for me where I was just like, this series used to be about street racing?
yeah.
Dom is dressed up as a
Such a good
combination.
point.
He's a combination of the Winter Soldier and Buzzsaw Louie from VeggieTales.
Yeah.
And he's
And
like cutting
he's
into
got
the top of this
shield
car.
and this like giant saw.
He's just
Yeah.
in a pile of cars.
And did it take you guys a second to figure out what the point of the flare was?
no.
To put it in the gas tank?
With the
Yeah.
gas tank?
No.
For a second, because I was like, why a flare? And I thought, oh,
You're
is he
the
going to
car-
call like a
you're
missile
car
strike on?
expert.
Well, I thought he was going to drop it on the hood of the car and be like, missile strike on this car
Hold
from the
up,
flare.
hold
Oh my
up.
gosh.
Are you not a car expert, Jordan?
Did you know
What?
that gas catches on fire?
What?
Has Jordan Wonder's car corner been a lie these past
This is an
9
even
weeks?
bigger twist than the end of this movie.
Guys, no, I swear.
Get
No, I really thought the dump was going to be like, peace out, sucker.
yeah. Yeah, just catch it all on fire.
And how would he get that football that everybody
Why did they keep
claims
calling it a
exists.
football? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a thing and act like I know it. What it
Okay.
means.
I'm trusting you.
Yeah, it's a thing. I told y'all I'm just gonna say it's a thing.
Good.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So is that what everybody's talking about when they talk about football?
Wait,
Yeah,
is
it's
the
nuclear.
football-
Is
is the-
now I know why people talk
Is
about
the
it so much.
football
yeah.
is the football the thing that they put on the back of his car?
No, I think the football is the briefcase.
Football is the
with
briefcase.
the nuclear launch codes.
The nuclear codes in it.
I can't believe they kept saying it for so long and they kept using the football reference. I get it in the moment, like hot potato.
Sure.
But like the point was to get the football.
Sure.
Guys,
There's
I'm gonna take a break
no,
to Google.
there is
nuclear.
no way that's. I can't believe they kept using it because that's what confused me.
They kept saying it like it's an established.
They're like, oh no, I think at one point Tej is like, they got nukes, they got whatever, they got a football. I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Wikipedia says the nuclear football, also known as the atomic football or the president's emergency satchel, is a briefcase, the contents of which are used by the president of the United States to authorize a nuclear attack.
Oh my gosh!
I don't want to talk about
I
this
wish they would have
anymore.
explained that a little bit so that I
Okay,
would have appreciated
imagine this, a world in which the game football is played, but instead of a brown triangular ball, it is
Stop everything.
It is a
I don't want to talk about
suitcase.
this anymore. I want to ask you what you think triangles look like.
they have 1 point on one end and 1 point on the other end, round in the middle, triangle. It is played with a suitcase just full, like however many nuclear launch codes you can think,
The cup runneth over.
quadruple it. It's
Yeah.
just stuffed to the gills with nuclear launch codes.
Yeah.
to
I'd
the
watch.
gills.
And the winner of the game gets to launch a nuke at the other team.
I'd watch it.
it's a big deal.
I would
watch the
watch
game.
it. I would pay attention to it.
I real quick want to hit on Dom's meeting with Mrs. Shaw, who we don't know at that point is Mrs. Shaw, but I totally 100% knew was Mrs. Shaw.
I had my glasses off when I was watching this, and for a split
Oh, you
second,
had to.
split second, I was like, Meryl Streep?
Oh, really?
That would have been crazy.
I was like, how did they get her? Oh, wait, no.
It's still kind of a how did they get though? Because
Yeah.
Helen Mirren doesn't really
No.
do these kinds of things,
No.
but she was hilarious.
She was.
For the little time we had her, I loved her scenes.
But at the moment, at the end of the New York scene when, and I want to talk about one specific New York scene in a second, but at the moment at the end when Dom shoots Shaw, 100% I knew exactly what the plan was.
Really?
Absolutely did.
No, I thought Shaw was dead.
I looked right at Callie and I said, that was why he met with Shaw's mom. I said Helen Mirren was Shaw's mom. That was why he met with Shaw's mom.
Speaking of that plan, it's a
how
shame
many
they only
movies
had
have
like.
you ruined for your love of your life?
She only watched like a little bit of it.
It's a shame they only had like $40
All of
to
them.
pay Luke Evans though, because he
Right.
was in this movie for about 25.
He
seconds.
ran upstairs
the
and
fact-
was gone.
The fact that we never saw him again.
Yeah, he might still be on that plane to this day.
Shaw was
Because
literally
then
like,
he went
"You go-"
upstairs to the Beauty and the Beast set
Yep,
to finish that movie.
exactly.
Wait, was he with the pilots? Was he the one who said time to land this plane? Yeah, he was.
Time to land this.
We
plane.
did see him
Yeah,
one
we
more time.
did see him.
Yep.
But
But
He's
still,
not a part
like,
of the family.
genuinely, he had about 50 seconds, if that, of screen time.
right. Can we talk about real quick before we move on from New York, drawing and quartering Dom's car and how dope that plan was?
Yeah, that was really sweet.
And then I had a moment where I was like,
Oh, yeah,
Dom's
that was
car
awesome.
can't flip two cars. And I was like, hey, he pulled a safe like 2 movies
It's
ago.
Dom,
so for
though.
sure he can.
Like the car feeds on his own life energy.
True.
Yeah. We've already seen the boost he got from some fire from earlier.
Mm.
So
Flame is boost. I'll say it again.
Flame is boost.
Flame is make go fast. I want to talk about
Blanta.
I want to talk about a dope scene.
Okay, do it.
And that scene is when Dom, who apparently has been taking acting classes, screams at the glass. That was the loudest we've ever heard Dom get in this whole show.
Yeah. And
But
tears.
when he talks to...
Do you think his tears were gasoline?
Yes. Or Nas. When he talks to Cypher, and he's like, you better kiss my baby. Because the only reason you quit your plan is I did.
Luckily, I had subtitles on.
Yeah. But like,
He's all
honestly,
keeping you alive.
full chills
Really?
at that scene. I was like, oh, Dom,
Really?
unleash it.
Yeah.
Unleash
I was
it.
like,
His first yell came before this scene, though.
Yeah, it did.
When he's like, he just says out of nowhere, he picked such a bad time to yell. But he's like, I know that you need 2 people to do a failsafe, but I'm alone. And I got chills, but that's from the urine running down my leg because I got so scared. He yelled at such a random time.
I remember thinking that, and I had forgotten about it until right now.
I remember when I watched this, I was like, wait, but Letty, you have Letty. Like, you're not alone. It's okay. Don't be so scared.
Yeah,
But he was sad.
he was sad.
I'm going to go ahead and do my super dump here.
Ooh.
And it's so conflicting, and I hope we don't talk too much about it because I think it's going to be controversial.
I mean, that verse.
Alluding back to when I said that the crew just felt like something was wrong, while it was an interesting part of the plot to have Dom go rogue, good, we've got that out of the way.
Sure.
Letty's done it too. I really hope they don't do it again
Yeah.
because that's getting old. Having Dom not a part of the team for most of the movie almost beat this movie up structurally.
Especially with
And
Brian gone,
foundationally,
too.
my super dump was pulling Dom away from the team.
I agree.
And maybe that just means Cypher was a good play for doing that because you made the movie worse for me and you made it worse for
I
everybody.
don't
Right.
feel like
Right.
Cypher was a particularly compelling villain, though.
No,
Yeah.
no, I agree. It would have been interesting to see her, much like Baron Zemo, attack in a much different way than the crew was used to being attacked. And she did that, but it still lacked something. And I think that something was Dom.
Yeah,
being
Dom's
with his
just not a
crew.
part of it.
Yeah, I haven't even made that connection. This would be way better if it was just Fast and Furious Civil War.
Yeah.
Where the team was actually split.
Yeah, that would be cool.
give me more than just Dom on one side. And
Yeah.
and it would have been hard for anyone individually to do that.
Well-
Hobbs kind of did it, but he kind of had a team when he was a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I would have loved to see maybe even a little bit of Letty being like, I'm not going to leave Dom behind. Who's with me? And maybe one other person going with her and everybody else being like, no way. And
Right.
then
No
those
way.
two kind of
Yeah.
coming head to head at
Yeah,
some point. Would have
I
been
dig
cool.
it. I dig it.
But I think it's time to talk about Russia,
Let's do it.
right? The only thing that really happens in between these two scenes is Scott
matter.
Eastwood mumble crying
sudden
his way through.
He's a really bad actor.
yeah.
He's a really bad actor.
But I didn't think he was. Maybe I'm wrong, but
He enunciated. He's focused way too much on pronouncing words
yeah.
than actually being a good actor.
Yeah, I guess maybe the right because he didn't really mumble so much as he did over
Oh, it
speak.
was-
He
It
over enunciated.
was
It was
very,
it was the Amy Adams in the DCEU of it
Yeah,
all.
but we get Dom in the coolest car I have seen in this entire series.
Oh,
Loved
it was cool.
Thought
for
it
sure.
was so sick.
and the poof, doing the like thing
Yeah.
that just destroyed all that stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome.
EMP.
I mean, it's basically the Batmobile now.
it is
Like, it's just
100%.
gadgets. I was describing these movies to somebody the other day as these are just James Bond if every gadget was a car.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's great.
But we get Dom rolling up to this place that houses the nuclear submarine.
Basically a military base.
Right. We get the crew rolling up on Dom
Yep.
and Cypher circling overhead
Yep.
with the baby. Did we address that Elsa Pataki died?
We did.
She died.
She died. Tormund killed her.
Goodbye.
It was tough.
So Dom moves in,
Mhm.
makes his play.
Makes it.
I mean, that's kind of really all he does, right?
Yeah, I mean, something that was a big dump. I felt like they were really, and this movie was filmed last year. Game of Thrones is deep in it.
Yeah.
Like it is happening. You have built him up so much. What's that actor's name? That's the wildling.
We're just gonna
You
go.
said
with
it earlier.
Just call
No,
him,
that's the real name.
Tormund.
Or that's
Just
no,
call him
Tormund.
That's his character name, Tormund.
Tormund died like a expletive.
Mm-hmm.
Like he.
Yeah.
Why didn't we have more of at least a fist fight? I guess we had to show Dom's fury.
Well, and we had
Like-
to watch Dom go. He goes, "What are you doing?" And Dom goes, "I'm looking you in the eyes."
Yeah.
Yeah. It-
Stepped on the neck of the tiger.
You lifted your foot off the neck of the tiger.
He did. This was his best trash talking. Dom's best trash
Yeah,
talking.
sure. The closer and closer we get to the end of this movie without Carter or I tossing out our super pumps makes me feel like we have the same one. I feel like we need to work our way to what mine is, and I'm assuming Carter's is. But really, all that happens here is that the crew busts in and starts to counterhack Cypher, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's really all we get here.
You're not to the chase yet.
It's kind of
No.
to me anticlimactic.
Right.
To me, the best and most compelling action scenes were Zombie Car,
Nope.
and were okay. Tell me about it then.
I love your idea.
What was better?
Zombie
What-
Car was amazing.
What
Zombie
keeps
Car
this,
was amazing.
What keeps this from being anticlimactic?
There is a moment in this movie where Jason Statham and Luke Evans jetpack glide into the back of the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bust their way all the way through this plane. And then something I've never seen anything like in any movie ever happens for so much longer than I thought it would. And every second of this is my super pump for this movie. And it is a baby-wielding Jason Statham murdering his way through an entire plane of henchmen.
This was almost my super pump. I was referring to vehicular action.
Nope, doesn't matter.
I believe you. I'm on your team for this. That is also my super pump.
Figures. This is really great.
It was honestly incredible comedic timing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was written so well.
Yes.
It was as if the Fast and the Furious franchise was kind of laughing at itself with the action.
And
because it was so silly.
Something rare for me,
music.
I liked Jason Statham. Beyond just a vehicle for action, I was like, who is this guy?
He's charming.
You're charming. You're funny. The Alvin and the Chipmunks was killing me the whole time it was happening. Weird seasonal choice, but I'll take it.
Yes.
Fighting.
Does that make this a Christmas movie?
I guess so.
I mean, they were in Russia. It's always
Christmas
in
and never
It's always
winter. It's always winter. But
winter is here.
The fighting was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
The whole like,
Can we?
was that you or was that him? It was him. It was so great.
Oh, Super Pump was almost. I can just watch Hobbs. I love The Rock. Give him an Instagram follow. I hope he listens, and then someday maybe he can listen to us. But when he takes a submarine torpedo on the surface of the ice and simply redirects it with his own biceps, while pretty much silver surfing on the ice himself, that was so much fun. But I'll tell you, I almost super dumped in the same scene. That stupid Roman thing on the car door.
With the door.
Yeah.
And it was
Made
basically
me-
the Avengers theme when he jumped out of the water.
Oh,
Like,
that was so bad.
When
I
he
did not
skidded
like,
like 1,000 feet, it was practically like, bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean?
Nobody dies, right? Okay, cool. At least keep him wet so we can see he dealt with some hypothermia.
Yeah.
He was dry.
I would love to go back and watch. This is the only time I'm ever going to say this sentence. I want to watch Too Fast, Too Furious again.
No.
Just to see, like, was Roman always this dumb?
No, I don't think so.
Like, he is incompetent, imbecile dumb
Yeah.
in this movie.
I think he was
He was
developed into that.
a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
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 100%.
Funny moments still with him. I mean, like, I still was laughing. But it was, I also,
See, it just didn't quite work for me.
I don't
Yeah.
think I laughed at him except for once, and I don't remember what it was.
I loved when he was bashing Little Nobody, Baby
Yeah.
Nobody.
That was great.
But
The ending of this movie is really just a bunch of explosions.
here's the thing, though. There's so much fire baptism at the end. They've used it again.
Okay, it was really
Him being
cool
circled by
when
the cars?
they surrounded him with those
Yeah.
cars.
Big pump.
And then him, like, I mean, he does drive his car through fire almost exactly from the same angle that he walked out of the fire of that
Yep.
airplane.
Yep.
Like, that is going to be somehow they have invented a new kind of cliche and have not worn it out.
Yeah.
I think in 9 he's going to be lit on fire, and they're just not going to put him out again. Like he's just going to be
He's going to be
burning
on
for-
fire
Yep.
for the rest of 9 and all of 10.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all a Ghost Rider origin story, I'm sure.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding you. Had that exact same thought last night while I
Really?
was watching this.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't understand why I'm supposed to believe that a layer of ice kept them from all dying from a nuclear explosion.
Yep.
Those weren't the nuclear
Yes, they were.
explosives. Oh.
They literally said that there is so much nuclear activity under this ice right now. That he said that because that was what the sub was. They were going to drive it into open ocean. so
Don't
they
you
could launch
remember
from it.
those like PSAs and stuff from the 50s and 60s where it was like,
Stand on ice.
if they nuke us, put an ice cube over your head.
Yeah,
You won't die.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about those.
That's crazy. I can't believe that. I don't know why I missed it.
I was second guessing myself up until the end
Yeah,
when
that-
Tej was like,
that
"There's
was
like
a
so
nuke.
much nuclear activity underneath us."
That was a nuke.
It was a nuke.
no, it was a sub full of nukes.
Yeah.
So
This is
maybe
like-
in the next movie, it starts. Fast and Furious 9 opens up with all of them having like third hands and arms growing off of them.
See,
from
that's the
nuclear
thing
exposure.
about this movie and this conclusion in particular, in a franchise that as of late has been really built around what kind of cool skateboard tricks you can do as you jump over the shark. They jumped the shark,
Dude,
of jumping the shark. You know what I mean?
I'm not kidding when I was going to say at the end of this episode, I was going to leave us with this movie jumped the nuke.
Yeah. It totally did. It was just like this movie pushed it one too far. You know what I mean?
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were still plenty of scenes that
Still loved it.
But I will say, basically all of Russia was some of the worst CGI backgrounds I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, it was bad. It was bad.
Movie.
It was like Star Wars Episode 2 bad.
Yep, it really was.
So from there, this movie goes to their new house where they now live in New York City.
On a roof, question mark.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Nobody got invited. I called from the moment a baby was revealed, which I'm sure
his
everybody
name was
did.
going to be Brian.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody, me Brian.
Is it?
So is
it time? Yeah, is it time to? I mean, that's the end of the last Fast and Furious movie in the series thus far.
Carter, are you watching the finale on YouTube?
No, I have for you, and we're going to get a live reaction. This is what a nuclear underwater explosion looks like. I'm showing them now.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Whoa!
Very much.
Now
It's like a square mile.
That was in the ocean.
Imagine just Vin Diesel's car shooting out of the very top of that.
But it was just like
Same parachute from 6.
no. Cypher took the only parachute. Can I dump on that? By the way,
that sucked.
Yeah,
While
for
we're
someone
here-
who's super prepared.
Just a big dump on Cypher. Cypher sucked so
no,
much.
I'm not going to say that.
I like Charlize most times.
She's usually a good actress.
That hair. What was with that hair?
She was very bad.
Anyway.
Her brothers were in The Matrix Reloaded. I don't know if you saw it. Cypher's brothers. Cypher, Hacker,
Sure.
the two dreaded white.
Sure.
guys. Anyways.
Sure.
Is it time to rate and review this movie?
I think that it is.
Here at Two Chunks and a Hunk, we've developed the perfect way to rate movies. It's called the Scientific Cinema Scale, and it is flawless, proven by science, and it is also as follows. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, and buy that poster. The next best thing is going to be to buy it. After that, it's going to be rent it. The next thing is stream it. After that, it's forget it. And lastly, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie. God hath forsaken us. So who wants to go first?
I will. It's a rent. It's a rent because 6 and 7 peaked. 8, the same things weren't working anymore. And so I'm starting to discover they're going to have to do something different. That won't stop me from watching them.
No, certainly.
But it's definitely on a trajectory right now that if it keeps up, probably not anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
But because it's just the same thing.
Unless we kind of have to for the podcast. But
Yeah.
But other than that,
No,
totally. This would be a stream for me.
Okay.
I totally agree with your analysis. I just disliked it more than you did.
Yeah.
This is how I imagine I'll feel on my 51st birthday, when I can be certain that over half of my life is now behind me and I have crested the hill and I'm beginning to return from whence I came. Exactly.
So for me, this movie was almost a rent it until I saw the plane scene with Shaw.
Okay.
This is going a different way than you think it is, I think. In that scene,
Forget it.
in that scene, I saw what this movie could have been and had the potential to be.
Yep.
And it retroactively made me dislike the earlier part of the movie more. This movie is a stream it for me. I am so disappointed by the lack of everything else being as cool as that plane scene was.
Yeah.
Like the Shaw and the plane might be my new favorite scene from the entire series.
Isn't that a Samuel L. Jackson movie?
Yeah, Shaw and the plane.
Yeah.
Literally so great. Everything I wanted the series to be was Shaw on the plane. It was so
good.
wonderful. And because the rest of the movie did not live up to that hype and that level set by that scene, it has to be a stream it for me. This movie did not land nearly as well on Jordan Wonders as the rest of the most recent ones. did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so weird. That was not at all what I was expecting.
Especially after, in my opinion, the series peak at 7.
Yes.
The drastic dip to 8 was startling.
It's interesting that you mentioned series peak. We've been kicking around for a while.
Yeah.
This is our last episode of the Fastest and the Furiousest, and it
can't
has
believe
been
it.
a fast and furious ride.
It really has.
I never thought that I would come to the point where I enjoyed any of these movies.
Yes.
much
neither.
less enjoy them as much as I did. So
Right.
let's go ahead. I think we've all prepared this. Let's go ahead and reveal our ranked list of
Yeah.
the Fast and Furious
Do we want to
movies.
start with 8 and then just kind of go around really quickly? Like
Yeah.
all of our 8s.
So like last place?
Last place for me.
Okay.
Worst one?
Too Fast, Too Furious
Okay.
was my worst one.
Okay.
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift.
Okay. I thought you loved Tokyo Drift.
They all blend together for me.
Too Fast, Too Furious, bad.
When they used to be about racing, they're all the same movie to me.
So-
Next up, 7th place, next to worst, Fast and the Furious, the very first one.
Okay.
The Fast and the Furious.
Hey, me too. Fast 1.
Too Fast, Too Furious for me.
Okay.
All right.
Then for me, it was Tokyo Drift.
Too fast.
The Fast and the Furious.
So,
Okay,
we have the
first
same-
three. The first three movies are the worst
We have
three.
the same bottom 3.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Next
I
for-
bet these go in the same order.
Next was 4 for me.
Same.
6.
Really? Okay.
Next was 5 for me.
Same.
8.
Next was 7 for me.
Next was Fate of the Furious for me.
4.
Okay. I skipped one.
Yeah. What's your second place?
My 3rd place was 8.
Oh, okay.
Fate of the Furious. 2nd place was 7.
Second place is Fast and Furious 6 for me.
Mine was Fast 5.
My number 1 was 6 for me.
Okay.
Fast and the Furious 6.
Number 1 was Furious 7.
Furious 7 with a bullet in first place for
Hey,
me.
we'll make a little infographic of all of these and we'll post it on our Instagram. If you are the type of person that is curious how we would rank these movies.
Yeah. Honestly, I can say this now confidently. I think I'm genuinely considering buying Furious 7 on Blu-ray just so I have it.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I think I gave it a buy it, and I think I need to honor that commitment.
Wow.
Yeah.
If we actually had to buy all of the things
I
that
know
we
it would
said
be
we would
hard,
on
huh?
this show,
Although
it'd
to be
a really
fair,
bad
I've
time.
owned a lot of the ones that we've
Yeah,
already
you
talked
have.
about.
Yeah.
Doge, I've got a very special moment, way more special for you and I. Maybe not special at all for Jordan. Could you hold my hand?
Yeah.
There was a, and would you say the episode's almost over?
The episode is almost over, yeah.
There was something
The
that you and I
episode's almost
completely
over.
disagreed about episodes ago. Jordan had made a claim that we just absolutely couldn't believe. I even thought he might be lying. In this movie, he did not even mention his favorite 2 characters were back.
He
no,
did not.
I'm going to own my mistake right here and right now for the world to hear.
Yes. Say it.
What a garbage part those 2 gentlemen had in
They
this
were in
movie.
it for 10 seconds, so no
Did
wonder you
mean,
forgot.
Did you
it.
mean this movie or this franchise?
No, I still like them in Fast 5. I stand by that one. I stand by that one.
No.
Yeah.
Would you rather them have a spinoff than Hobbs and Shaw?
No, not now. Not now.
I know. At the time,
At the
we
time,
didn't have,
yeah.
we didn't even have Shaw. At the
I didn't
time.
know what Shaw was, and I didn't have Eyebrow Rock Hobbs yet. But
Yeah.
now that we're here,
Over
man,
here, they don't fit. Yeah.
I'll tell you this: I'll show up at the midnight for Hobbs and Shaw.
I'm going to hold you to that. If
I
you're
thought you
listening
were
to
gonna
this
say,
show,
I'm going to hold you
if you're
through
listening to
that.
this show, you have to hold Jordan to that
and through it.
and through it.
Amazing.
Well, speaking
And
of
now.
characters who should have been in this episode, but were not, if you want a shout out on a future episode of 2 Chunks and a Hunk, hashtag official chunky on any form of social media, interact with us at all, DM us. You can go to 2chunksandahunk.com and you can click the contact us page. You can send us your pumps and dumps for whatever movie we're going to be going through next. And we'll say your name here, and it's going to be real fun for all of us and very special.
And it's going to sound a little bit like this. Once again, a huge important shout out to maybe the most important shout out we could give this episode, Mr. Jesse Iwuji.
Jesse, you have been so fantastic.
Like, honestly, legitimately cool. An actual hero in multiple senses of the word.
yes.
A fast driver.
Mm-hmm.
And just a generally and genuinely kind person.
Yes.
I guarantee you, if a character had been written after the life of Jesse Iwuji and placed into this franchise, likely would have been
The number one
one of
character.
my favorite, if not my favorite.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
whole thing started as a joke. If you haven't been with us from the beginning, Jesse found us through a hashtag on Instagram and commented a yellow thumbs up emoji and a black and white checkered race flag emoji on one of our posts. And we thought, oh, this is funny. Verified Instagram account. We started jokingly referring to him as our first official sponsor. And then we all followed him and realized
Quickly found out
Jesse is the man.
the coolest
The
guy.
absolute man.
It sounds like I'm overselling him.
No,
I'm
he's
not.
awesome.
I promise.
No,
he
not at
rules.
all.
So once again, thank you so much, Jesse.
Yes, thank you.
In addition to Jesse, we want to shout out Stacy Johnson for once again talking about us on social media. Thank you so much, Stacy. You're the best.
Stacy's the artist behind the ever popular Coronas Brothers with Demi Lovato image
gosh.
we posted a few weeks ago. We'll
So
post that
good.
again on our story
Just because it's that awesome.
great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Can I give a collective shout out? Doge was going through our statistics in terms of downloads and people listening to this podcast. Guys, we have a fast and furious head of steam. We are so
Yeah.
thankful to everybody
Yeah.
for continuing to download. There's got to be several subscribers out there because it's happening on a weekly basis, and
Thank
it's getting
you
better and better.
so much.
We have so much fun doing this, and we're so happy to have that support.
Yeah, a genuine shout out to literally anybody that has ever listened to and or liked our show.
Yes.
If you hear these words, you done been shouted.
Speaking of things that make us feel good, if you like the show, like listening to it, and want to do us a huge favor, one of the best things that you can do to help us out is to find the podcast and rate and review it on whatever form of listening you choose.
Yeah.
Good
Yelp.
reviews and good 5 to 1,000 star ratings help us out a ton when it comes to being found by new listeners.
Yes.
Exactly. And the best way for new listeners to find us is for you to tell them about us.
Yeah.
If you like our show, tell somebody about it.
Please do.
If you don't like our show, tell somebody how much you hate it, and they'll go, you know what? I'll probably hate it too. I need to listen to it.
And
so I
then
get
they'll
mad."
love it because they have good taste.
Guys, how do we possibly end such an incredible series?
I think the only thing that we can do is to end
Just live our lives a quarter mile at a time.
that. But I think the only proper send off and transition from what we've been doing to what we're about to do is to speak some iconic Harry and Lord lines in the voice of the only man I want to hear right now, Dominic Toretto.
Just to clarify, you do mean Lord as in the singer?
Right.
Okay, perfect.
I'll never be royal.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
So, Jordan, you're telling us to pick a line from either Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings and say it as Dom Toretto.
I am.
This is amazing.
Yes.
I have mine already.
Okay, go.
Potatoes. I'm not done. I don't want no stinky. Hold up. I don't want no stinky potatoes. Wait, let me start over. It's only because they're both bald. Okay. Shh. Potatoes. I don't want no stinking potatoes. Give it to us raw and wiggling.
It is our choices, Harry, that show us what we truly are, far more than our abilities.
That quote is said by
Albus Dumbledore.
I got mine.
I can't carry the wing, Mr. Frodo, but I can carry you.
One wing to rule them all.
And in the darkness bind them.
The next movie that we're doing is Harry Potter.
And the chamber.
Nope.
And the philosopher's stone.
And the Sorcerer's Stone.
The sorcerer's stone.
You'll be able to listen to that one on September the 4th, the first episode of our new series,
Do you believe in magic?